How to burn out faster, tip 1, explained. Let's first watch again tip number 1, how to burn out faster. I woke up and the first thing I do was checking my work email. And of course, this is a sarcastic way of exhibiting behaviors that you should not execute. Because the first thing in the morning, you should actually calm down. You just woke up from a night's rest. You're either still halfway dreamy or at least you're relaxed. And what happens in your body when you wake up? The hormone cortisol is actually already at its work. In most human beings, cortisol, they call it also the stress hormone, and it has a number of functions, but it tends to be the highest in the morning and tapers down during the day. But stress provokes even more cortisol. And what happens when you have too much cortisol running into your system, it actually stores sugar, glycosine, into your body as fuel for actually dealing with the stress or the situation that you need to deal with. So what happens in the morning, your cortisol is already at a high level. Imagine you actually start producing even more cortisol because of the stress you evoke at yourself by looking at email. And there's always something that causes stress in the email. You get an even higher spike in cortisol, and actually that could set you off to weight gain or at least accumulate fat in the body. So if there's only just one reason why you should avoid not watching emails, especially work emails early in the morning, is for the very fact, again, it increases cortisol and it's a hormone that's related to stress, and it can actually, make your body store even more fat in the body. So you want to be careful with that. That's one. But secondly, think about the fact that you just wake up from a good night's rest. You're ready for the day. Why would you, first thing in the morning, think about work? If you wake up like I do, like 5:30, and I go to the gym, that's my rhythm, my operating rhythm, so to say. And if I interrupt that by looking at email, I either am not focused on the task ahead, which is go to the gym and perform, but it's more geared towards work and the things I read in email. That's one. But secondly, sometimes I also feel that if I start looking at my emails before I go to the gym, I actually put off going to the gym because things in the email seem to be urgent and important. But if I would leave the cell phone at rest for a couple of hours, nothing would have happened or harm done. But it's just my sense of responsibility that I want to act on what I'm reading in the email. So the second reason why you should not watch emails first thing after waking up is because it could set off a couple of behaviors and thoughts that take you away from your initial plan, which was go to the gym, take it easy in the morning, perhaps take a walk. Because everything you will see in the email could lead to other decisions, and you want to avoid that. But why else would you not want to look at email first thing in the morning? Well, as you saw in the video, I had my cell phone next to the bed, and that means it's right there for the taking. So it's also very tempting to take the cell phone. And if I take the cell phone and the light it transmits, the blue light, it also sets a number of things in motion. It's actually okay in the morning to have blue light. But if you want to look for blue light and actually start the chemical processes in your brain that are needed for the day and the night, like producing melatonin, you're much better off go out for a walk. It has shown in various studies that if you go outside early in the morning, just when the sun, starts to shine and it's an early sunrise, to get those early rays of sun into your eyes actually helps you sleep better at night It soothes the brain and the mind, gives you that tranquility. So if you wanna, have a nice start of the day, avoid the phone, go outside and catch those early rays of sun. Take your time. It doesn't need to be hours and hours. But if you take a good 20, 30-minute walk in the morning, just before anything else, if you don't want to go to the gym, it's just a perfect way to start the day. Of course, ideally, if you are in weight training or any other training you could perform in the gym, it's advisable actually to go and do that before anything else. It will get you a nice start of the day, gives you a tremendous focus, will also release the right hormones for weight loss and having a healthy body and mind. And what I've learned over the years, if I go to the gym early in the morning, it's almost like I've done it. I ticked off that box. And if I leave it to the end of the day, then other things could happen during the day, which sets me off track. And let's look at the video one more time. Pro tip, you see me here, being dressed and not looking just at the cell phone, but actually at the laptop. Your body and mind needs a clear distinction between your work life or your private life. The very moment you bring devices, and not just your cell phone, but even your laptop into the bedroom, that boundary is completely blurred, and your body and mind doesn't know where you are actually working or having a private life. I like to have my laptop in a different room, and if I go into that room, it signals to my body and brain that I'm about to work. And when I leave the room, I'm actually taking a break or stepping out of it. You need clear boundaries between what is work and what is not work. And again, bringing a laptop into the bedroom totally blurs that line. Boundary is out of the window. Same goes for clothing. If you wake up fully dressed for the day, where is the border between what has to be your private life and your work life? There isn't any. So why don't you just wake up, take your time, get a morning coffee, relax, perhaps do some journaling, go either to the gym or take a walk outside, and postpone the thought and reject the urge to actually look at your cell phone and start working. Because if you start working at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., or 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., literally nothing changes towards in the inbox. It's there. And if you acted on it right now or an hour later, nothing happens. Still the same. It's actually in your mind what makes a difference. You attach emotion, a notion, an idea to the fact that if you respond faster and more in time, you will actually get more things done. I dare to beg the difference. I'm almost certain that if you would take more time to respond to certain emails and not with a knee-jerk reaction or shooting from the hip, you could actually either be answering that email with much more detail, which will not set off a reply, response email thread. No, you will actually be able to, bring it to bed with one single reply. And you will be less inclined to react emotionally. How often did I have an email in the morning and I could not help myself? I had to watch the email and it was like 6 a.m. I felt this urge to react. I reacted and it was way too personal, way too emotional. Because if I would have taken the time to reflect, think about the response, take time to write the response and send it, I would have been in less more trouble and I would have actually stopped going back and forth between me and the other person. So again, take your time. There is no rush. It's email. It's not a phone call. It's not somebody at the end of the line wanting and needing you to reply right now. The fact that it's in email in written form gives you the time and opportunity to reply in written form when it suits you. And I'm certain it's not the best moment in time to do it the very moment you wake up. So you need to take tip 1 with a huge amount of salt. It's super sarcastic. But if you want to prevent the burnout, make sure there's a distinction between what's private and personal and business. And private and personal means that's your space. Wake up in the morning, take your time, and when the time is there, you can step into the work life and execute as you should be. But I am convinced that nobody will perform at their best in a work situation the very moment they wake up. But I do know that if you expand the time between waking up and start working, that those hours, your time, actually sets you up for a long-term success. Look after yourself and look after each other.